Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the international webinar series on holistic health, well-being, and sustainable development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030 as part of awareness and campaign in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Well-being. Before we start our session, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's sessions. Today, today is World Leprosy Day. World Leprosy Day, in short known as WLD, is celebrated on the last Sunday of January. In 2023, World Leprosy Day is today, that is on Sunday, 29 January. This day is an opportunity to celebrate people who have experienced leprosy, raise awareness of the disease, and call for an end to leprosy-related stigma and discrimination. The theme for the World Leprosy Day is 2023 is Act Now, End Leprosy. This year themes calls attention to three key messages. Elimination is possible. We have the power and tools to stop transmission and defeat this disease. Act now. We need the resources and commitment to end leprosy, prioritize leprosy elimination, reach the unreached. Leprosy is preventable and treatable. Suffering from leprosy is needless. So, If you want to raise awareness with World Leprosy Day, this is wonderful opportunity. Leprosy is curable with a combination of antibiotics known as multi-drug therapy, MDT in short. This treatment is available for free of cost across the world. If leprosy is not treated, it can lead to serious complications. Leprosy is at least 4,000 years old, making it one of the oldest diseases known to the humanity. However, we believe we can be the generation that finally ends the transmission of leprosy. Our target is to achieve 120 countries with zero new autochthonous leprosy cases by 2030. Leprosy still exists, although around 2 lakh people were diagnosed with leprosy each year before COVID-19. This number has fallen by 30% because of disruptions caused by the pandemic to leprosy programs. Many millions are living with leprosy-related disabilities, particularly across Asia, Africa, and South America. So leprosy is a chronic infectious disease caused by the type of bacteria, Mycobacterium leprae. The disease predominantly affects the skin and peripheral nerves. Left untreated, the disease may cause progressive and permanent disabilities. The bacteria are transmitted via droplets from the nose and mouth during close and frequent contact with untreated cases. Leprosy is curable with multi-drug therapy. Leprosy is reported from all the 6 WHO regions. The majority of annual new case detections are from Southeast Asia. Leprosy is an age-old disease and is described in the literature of ancient civilizations. It is a chronic infectious disease which is caused by a type of bacteria called Mycobacterium leprae. The disease affects the skin and the peripheral nerves, mucosa of the upper respiratory tract, and the eyes. Leprosy is curable, and treatment in early stages can prevent disability. Apart from physical deformity, persons affected by leprosy also face stigmatization and discrimination. Leprosy is neglected tropical disease, in short known as NTD, which still occurs in more than 120 countries with more than 2 lakh new cases reported every year. Elimination of leprosy as a public health problem globally, defined as prevalence of less than 1 per 10,000 population, was achieved in 2000 as per World Health Assembly Resolution 44.9 and in most countries by 2010. The reduction of the number of cases has been gradual, both globally and in WHO regions. As per the data of 2019, Brazil, India, and Indonesia reported more than 10,000 new cases, while 13 other countries, Bangladesh, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Ethiopia, Madagascar, Mozambique, Myanmar, Nepal, Nigeria, Philippines, Somalia, South Sudan, Sri Lanka, and the United Republic of Tanzania each reported 1,000 to 10,000 new cases. 45 countries reported 0 cases and 99 reported fewer than 1,000 new cases. So the disease is transmitted through droplets from the nose and mouth. Prolonged close contact over months with someone with untreated leprosy is needed to catch the disease. The disease is not spread through casual contact with a person who has leprosy, like shaking hands or hugging, sharing meals, or sitting next to each other. Moreover, the patient stops transmitting the disease when they begin treatment. The diagnosis of leprosy is done clinically. Laboratory-based services may be required in cases that are difficult to diagnose. The disease manifests commonly through skin lesions and peripheral nerve involvement. Leprosy is diagnosed by finding at least one of the following cardinal signs, like definite loss of sensation in a pale, hypopigmented or reddish skin patch, thickened or enlarged peripheral nerve, with loss of sensation and or weakness of the muscles supplied by the nerve, microscopic detection of bacilli in a slit skin smear. Based on the above, the cases are classified into two types of treatment purposes: paucibacillary (PB case) and multibacillary (MB case). PB case, a case of leprosy with 1 to 5 skin lesions without demonstrated presence of bacilli in a skin smear. MB case, a case of leprosy with more than 5 skin lesions or with nerve involvement, pure neuritis, or any number of skin lesions and neuritis, or with demonstrated presence of bacilli in a slit skin smear, irrespective of number of skin lesions. So leprosy is a curable disease. The currently recommended treatment regimen consists of 3 drugs: dapsone, rifampicin, clofazimine. The combination is referred to as multi-drug therapy, MDT. The duration of treatment is 6 months for PB, 12 months for MB cases. MDT kills the pathogen and cures the patient. Early diagnosis and prompt treatment can help to prevent disabilities. WHO has been providing MDT free of cost. Free MDT was initially funded by Nippon Foundation, and since 2000, it is being donated through an agreement with Novartis. The case detection and treatment with MDT alone have proven insufficient to interrupt transmission. To boost the prevention of leprosy, with the consent of the index case, World Health Organization recommends tracing household contacts along with the neighborhood and social contacts of each patient, accompanied by the administration of a single dose of rifampicin as preventive chemotherapy. World Health Organization provides technical support to member states on leprosy prevention and control. Every year, World Health Organization collates epidemiological data on leprosy from all its member states and publishes consolidated report in English and French in weekly epidemiological record for data pertaining to the previous calendar year. After detailed consultations with countries, experts, partners, and persons affected by leprosy, World Health Organization released the Towards Zero Leprosy Global Leprosy Hansen's Disease Strategy 2021 to 2030, aligned with the Neglected Tropical Diseases Roadmap 2021 to 2030. The strategy calls for a vision of leprosy: zero infection and disease, zero disability, zero stigma and discrimination, and the elimination of leprosy, defined as interruption of transmission as its as its goal. The 4 strategic pillars of the strategy include implementing integrated country-owned zero leprosy roadmaps in all endemic countries, scaling up leprosy prevention along with integrated active case of detection, managing leprosy and its complications, and prevent new disability, and combating stigma and ensuring human rights are respected. The strategy also recognizes that global and national investment in research is essential in achieving zero leprosy and includes a set of key research priorities.
I was diagnosed with Hansen disease, leprosy, 4 years ago.
I experienced Hansen disease when I was very young.
I was diagnosed with leprosy at the age of 8 years.
म चाहिँ सानै उमेरमा 11 वर्षको उमेरमा मलाई कुष्ठरोग.
My grandmother was affected, my parents too.
I was ashamed, I was depressed.
लागेको थियो र 4 वर्ष ट्रिटमेन्ट गरे. ट्रिटमेन्ट लेभलमा धेरै स्ट्रगल गर्नु पर्यो किनभने मेरो परिवारले
The villagers won't try to talk with us. They won't come near us.
The late diagnosis mutilates and causes the affected persons to have physical impairments.
I also reached very late to the hospital because there was not much awareness about the disease in my family, and that causes deformity in my hand.
In Maradi, where I grew in the community of persons affected, I saw people suffering from stigma, suffering from discrimination.
मैले जति दुःख गर्नु गरे दुःख पाउनु पाए म जस्ता मेरो पछाडी आउने कुष्ठ प्रभावित दाजुभाइ दिदीबहिनीहरूलाई विशेष गरी दिदीबहिनीहरूलाई अगाडि बढ्नलाई अगाडि आउनलाई
So in 1873, Gerhard Henrik Armur Hansen, a Norwegian physician, identifies the bacterium Mycobacterium leprae as the principal bacteria that causes leprosy. In 1873, French philanthropist Raoul Fellery establishes World Leprosy Day to be observed on last Sunday of January annually to increase public awareness about the disease. So the first World Leprosy Day was celebrated in 1954. And World Health Organization states over 2.0.8 lakh cases of leprosy were reported across more than 120 countries, with the maximum emerging from India, Brazil, and Indonesia. So, and also leprosy affects worldwide. And this year, the day celebrates 60 9 years. And today is also the Seeing Guide Dog Anniversary. Is an appreciation for all of the dogs who act as their owner's eyes and ears. The devotion and thought abilities of these particular canines keep them safe and enable them to operate as fully functional persons. The day is meant to recognize the school that educates them. Seeing eye dogs go through extensive training to be more safely transfers the environment and all of the hazards for their person. That is why they are so worthy of the recognition. Since World War II, guide dogs have been utilized worldwide with the goal of counseling war-affected troops. Maurice Frank is credited with being the first recipient of a sighted dog. In the US, a dog called Buddy. Dorothy Harrison Acer, an American dog breeder residing in Switzerland, wrote about a guide dog display in Potsdam, Germany in 1927, and the essay was featured in the Saturday Evening Post. This article was about dogs being taught to be the ears and eyes for German World War I veterans. Frank sent a letter to Eustace as soon as he read the story, imploring her to train a dog for him. Eustace agreed to Frank's urgent plea and welcomed him to Switzerland. After a time of training with 2 dogs, Eustace and Frank picked the best dog for the job, which Frank called Buddy. In 1928, Frank arrived in New York City, US, where he and Buddy were met by a swarm of media. And the Buddy was the fantastic at navigating Frank through the congested streets of traffic and people. When Frank arrived home safely, he wrote a success message to Eustace to express his happiness. The CI was started on January 29, 1929, with Frank and Eustace as co-founders. To this day, the CI is the world's most sustainable guide dog training school. The Seeing Eye Guide Dog Anniversary celebrates the CI's inception date as the year's anniversary. Many people's lives are becoming more stable due to guide dogs, and many government policies for people who need guide dogs and for guide dogs are improving due to their eyesight. In 1788, Resinger, a blind eye sieve craftsman from Vienna, trains his Spitz so effectively that the people question his blindness. Birrer writes about his experience being directed by a dog he trained for 5 years in 1847. D.H. Utis, an American dog breeder residing in Switzerland, writes about a guide dog display in Potsdam, Germany, and the piece is featured in the Saturday Evening Post in 1927. The Seeing Eye Guide Dog Anniversary starts with Frank and Eustace as co-founders in 1929. The most frequent breeds utilized by the guide dogs are Labrador Retrievers and Golden Retrievers. These service animals have been meticulously trained to guide their owners past obstacles. Individuals with visual loss use guide dogs to travel securely and freely to and from home, workplace, school, and a variety of other locations across the globe. Fluorescent strips were wrapped around the white harness of guide dogs, which makes them to be recognized as a guide dog for the trained guide dogs. So on this occasion, train your dog, watch dog training videos and put what you have learned into practice with your dog. It may take a while to see some results, but do not give it up. Keep at it. Many guide dogs are capable of detecting overhead impediments for their owners. Despite various prohibitions and guidelines restricting animals in caves and other public areas, guide dogs are permitted practically everywhere with their owners in many nations. Guide dogs often retire from employment at the age of 10 or 11. Guide dogs are taught to exhibit intelligent disobedience, which means they will refuse to follow dangerous instructions from their owners if they see a risk that their owners may be or may have overlooked, such as vehicle than that run a red light. Only the most competent will finish the tough training. Some schools anticipate that 75% will complete it. Not all guide dogs complete their training. So having a loyal and trustworthy dog at your side may provide you with the freedom of movement that canes can provide. They make the most perfect companions. A guide dog will not steal your food, destroy your home, or bring a slew of crazy buddies over to spend the night. They remain loyal and will always be on the lookout for your best interest. Apart from guiding their owners, guide dogs also provide security. This is a real bonus that brings peace of mind. And today is also National Corn Chip Day in US. It is crispy, crunchy, and made out of cornmeal. Are extremely spiced with generally salt flavor and packed in a bag for longer life. Can be either be eaten alone with different dips at any time, which are tasty, yummy, crunchy, and they can be called as corn chips. Today is also National Carnation Day. These flowers are amazing significant for almost any season or occasion. It was established in the honor of William McKinley, the 25th US president, who was assassinated in 1901 and always wore a red carnation on his lapel. The carnation was said to be his favorite flower, and he always wore one for good luck. Today is also Free Thinkers Day in US. It is also called as Thomas Paine Day or Common Sense Day, as it encourages people all over the world to have freedom to think and express themselves. Today is also National Puzzles Day, a perfect day to do a little brain exercise. Whether it's a crossword, jigsaw, or Sudoku, puzzles engage our brain in more ways than one. Scientists have discovered that when we work on jigsaw puzzle, we utilize both the sides of the brain, improving memory, cognitive function, and problem-solving skills in the process. By utilizing puzzles, people can stimulate the brain, improve a number of skills. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemorations. We request everyone, all the participants, to quickly fill up the feedback form. So see you all tomorrow at the same time. Take a good night and happy weekend.